Hey everybody, super excited about today's intro to the podcast, and that is because many of you know that we've teamed up with TherAid. TherAid is and has been the preeminent leader in the sauna detoxification-based space. You know I'm a huge advocate of their TherAid 360. I've talked about their tri-light red light therapy and their negative ion generators. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this intro here today is that many of you do not know, though, a lot of the other products that they carry. One of those is the BioBand, and this is actually a really stylish bracelet, a band that you can wear around your wrist to help with everything from stress, inflammation, free radical damage, and more. It uses negative ion-based therapy, magnets, and infrared, plus so much more in order to help you through the healing process. So this is a really nice adjunct, a nice add-on to whether it be a daily foundational protocol, your smoothies, your walks, your workouts, whatever it might be. It's one more thing to help you with your overall health. And EqualLife has actually purchased 500 of those bands to give away to our community. It's completely free with all qualifying orders. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/shop for all the details. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today on a brand new episode 2443 of the Cabral Concept. That's where all of today's show notes, resources, research, and links will be. Excited to get into today's show. We've got a brand new product review coming. Going to be sharing that with you just in a few moments as we get started. Some new research, I've got that. You can hear me kind of crinkling these papers around as well. One on antidepressants and strokes. We've got one on a much better form, I think, than doing a colonoscopy in order to screen for colon cancer. Really anyone over the age of 45 years old, maybe even over 40, depending on health history, should be doing some type of colorectal cancer-based screening. There's 3 different forms out now. Colonoscopy is what is typically recommended, but it's obviously the most invasive and not a whole lot of fun to have done. So what we're going to do is go through some alternatives today that may even give you a better picture of what's going on inside, especially since colon cancer can be detected early, and very, very prevalent, especially in women as well. So we want to make sure that we check that out and get a good, clean bill of health. All right, we're going to go through, though, the updates of the week first. We also have our herb of the week coming. It's an Ayurvedic-based herb, typically grown in the Himalayas. Thousands and thousands of years old. Again, excited to share that with you. But before we do, let's get into our updates of the week. The nice thing is, for at least for me, and I love to be able to give you my updates, is that my busy travel season, traveling like all over the US, I've done book signings now, amazing. I've done interviews all over. I still have more interviews to come, but for the most part, they are going to be more virtual than they are me traveling to locations. And even though I love meeting all of these podcast hosts and video hosts in person, sometimes it is nice to just be able to relax for a few weeks, maybe even a month, and stay right at home. But I will say there is one event left, and it is coming up in just about a week from now. So next Friday, I will be on stage with 200 of our integrative health practitioners. Super excited for that event. That is in Florida, and it is with, again, like I said, our integrative health practitioner community. This is an event where we wanted to gather 200 of our IHPs meet and greet for really the first time in person out of all the thousands of IHPs we have. And it's going to be super exciting. I'm very excited to be speaking over those days, but also we have some great guests we've brought in as experts. That event is now sold out, but look for future events coming next year where we may even open it up to a much larger venue and invite many people from our EqualLife based community. So again, always bigger, always better in the future, dreaming bigger, and can't wait. All right, the EcoLife product promotion, exciting debut, whatever it might be for the week, however you want to look at it, is actually the product that I'll be talking about today. Now, the nice thing is I can talk about this product, I can tell you about all of the great features, and I don't even feel or need to sell. I don't feel like I need to sell anything. That's the honest truth. And I don't sell anything. I don't push anything on anyone. I say, listen, these are the actual benefits. You may or may not need them. Like, for example, we'll be talking about in a future show the benefits of like inositol. Okay, so if you are someone that is not worried about, specific cancer, blood sugar, PCOS, high testosterone in women, you probably don't need to be using inositol, right? But I'm going to share with you always the benefits. And if it's beneficial, well, you may use it, yes or no. That's basic thing. And you can always go find any company in the world that you like. Well, the nice thing is I try to give away as many products as I can in order to introduce people to overall functional medicine. It's just totally different than buying doing blood work with your doctor or buying like a nutritional supplement on Amazon. It's not that there aren't good nutritional supplements on Amazon. It's just, are they GMP certified? Or is the actual dosage based on the science? Anyway, I digress. Today, I'm actually sharing with you a product that we are giving away for free. It's called a BioBand, and it is by TherAid. It's actually their TherAid based product line that uses, well, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I'll share it with you later in the show, negative ions, infrared-based technology, gemstones, etc. And again, I'll give you kind of the full basis on what I've seen in the science, what I think still needs to be shown in the science, and all the particular benefits. But you can get yours completely free, and there's a bunch of different, we reserved 500. So if there's any left, I actually don't know. The good news is, though, we can certainly just direct you if you're looking to purchase one as well. So all of those links will be at stephencabral.com/2443 today. But yours completely free while supplies last. And that is legitimate. We have 500 that we purchased for our EcoLife community. And we're giving those away on all qualifying orders at stephencabral.com/shop. If they're sold out, we'll put a link today at stephencabral.com/2443. All right, podcast recap of the week before we get to our Herb of the Week product review and our 2 research studies is Monday's show, episode 2439. No talent is required to succeed or be great in life. I love that show, and that's because too often our excuse is, well, that person was born into XYZ. That person naturally is good at whatever it might be. So I kind of debunk and demystify all that and kind of forget about the 1% and just say, listen, this is how everybody else is successful. And so definitely check that out. That was episode 2439. And then, of course, they're in sequential order here. 2440 was the 7 immune boosting organs of your body. The next show on Wednesday was, should you take vitamin D3 all year round? I gave basically 3 different scenarios, and it just really depends on which scenario do you fit into. It's kind of one of those things like, am I trying to sell vitamin D? No, of course not. You can buy vitamin D3 anywhere you want in the world. I'm just here to share the benefits of it, right? So it's like I go through the foods that you could eat, I go through the sunlight you could get, or I go through nutritional supplements, how much you need to get, where it should show up in your labs, and then I let you take it from there. All right, and then yesterday's show was a fun one. It was, should you do hot and cold-based therapies, cold plunge, cold shower, cryotherapy, or sauna, etc., before and after your workout, just after your workout, just to start the day, and which ones may you need the most based on your specific goals. So that was a fun show. That was yesterday's show. All shows can be found at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right, let's get into that product review of the week before we get to our herb of the week. And that is the TherAid BioEnergetic BioBand bracelets. I'm wearing one right now. So I actually really like how it looks. So I got my watch on one arm. I got my Thera bio bracelet on the other. Now I'm going to take it off here for you. So if you're watching this on video, we appreciate you being a part of that YouTube community. Hopefully you subscribe to the show for daily updates. You can also get the daily video right at stephencabral.com/podcast. So on this side, I'll describe it if you're listening to this on audio. So it's a rubber bracelet. Okay, it's got little grip on the back so it doesn't slide around your arm, and it's got a nice silver, right, stainless right here, band in the middle. Now on the back of that stainless band, you can actually see the gemstones, jade and geranium are two of those, and then also the magnet-based therapy, the ceramic plate, and the negative ion and infrared generators are right inside of that. Now, what I can share with you is this. Well, why don't I do this? I'm going to go direct to the source. This is from TherAid. We partnered with TherAid. They're an amazing company. We don't own any of their company. We just said, listen, you're a great company. We love what you do. We're not going to be creating the saunas. We're not going to be creating all these different things that you do. We want to promote you to our community. And so you can see all the different resources of all the companies I recommend at stephencabral.com/resources. But I will link up the TherAid products today that I recommend because I use them myself. So does my wife, my family, at stephencabral.com/2443 is today's episode. Okay, so this is direct from TherAid. They created these to essentially combat all of the environmental radiation, environmental EMFs, and a lot of the harmful effects in our basically wired environment around us. So they say the BioBand bracelets is a stylish accessory that have infrared nanoparticle technology in the band and protective earth elements in a stainless fashionable top piece with infrared elements to support healthy physiological function, the jade and geranium to enhance energetic grounding to the earth's energy. So basically specific hertz that I've spoken about before with grounding, which by the way is based in science, negative ions that support a balanced energy state, and neodymium magnetic for enhanced defense against the harmful exposure of EMFs. So I just want to always state that this is not EMF blocking. This is not an EMF blocker. To my knowledge, that's not what's happening. What the difference is that your body is allowed to absorb more of the negative ions and infrared frequencies in your body from something like the different devices I've talked about with a Soma Vedic, and again, you can see the medic that I have at stephencabral.com/resources, but you're allowed to absorb these frequencies instead of more of the EMF frequencies. So this is not blocking EMFs. What it's doing is your cells absorb frequencies. It's hoping that you absorb more of these frequencies than you do of the EMFs all around you. And I've given you plenty of resources on EMF blocking devices, the ones that I use for my daughters and their iPads, for my wife's laptop if she's using that, just on the couch or something, and then the EMF blocker that I use on my phone. Again, those are at stephencabral.com/resources. So it is, it's a stylish bracelet, I think, and it has some benefits to it. So again, I'm still looking for the science behind jade and a lot of these gemstones. I really am. I always stay unbiased. I haven't found a lot of great science behind them, but I'll tell you this. When I was in old Beijing, during one of my internships for traditional Chinese medicine at a TCM hospital, they gave all of us, before starting, a jade pendant to wear while with patients. And the reason they did that is they said, this will help to absorb more of the negative energy and influencers so that they don't influence us, so it doesn't affect you and drain you of your energy. Is that true or not true? I don't know. I honestly don't know on that, but it's been used for thousands of years. And maybe we just don't understand the science behind it yet. Maybe there is a way that that's absorbed. I'm keeping my mind open to all things. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm all in yet. But what I always look at is this. I always say, listen, what is the downside to me wearing that jade pendant? Like literally, I would say to myself, what's the downside? Okay, is it going to make me sick? No. Is it going to be uncomfortable? No. Is it, going to somehow affect me in the future? Like I just go through all the different possible scenarios and the answer is no, right? Like it's not going to affect me in any way. Now, what if though the opposite is true? What if this is actually going to help absorb some of these frequency of sicknesses or negativity or whatever it might be? Could that be a benefit? The answer is yes. So for no downside and all upside, I'm all in. Like why not? Worst case scenario, it doesn't do anything. Now, we already know, though, inside of this bracelet, independent of the jade and the geranium, there's magnetic-based therapy, and there's infrared-based therapy, and there's negative ion therapy, and all of that has direct science behind it. So hopefully that was helpful. And we know what I'll do too is I will actually link up to the infrared bioceramic chip. I'll link up to the magnet-based therapy and the other nice things that you should know about as well. At today's podcast, episode 2443. All right, our herb of the week is none other than Shilajit. Shilajit is something that I've spoken about multiple times before in the podcast, and again, I'll link up those previous podcasts as well. I've answered in house calls, but I've actually done product reviews. So I'm going to link up one of the previous product reviews that I've done on Shilajit, but it's our herb of the week, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you. Now, the interesting thing about Shilajit is that it's kind of a strange herb to be talking about because it's actually more like a resin. It's more like dirt, to be honest with you. If you've ever tried Shilajit, it has this deep, smoky, earthy-based flavor. It is not, I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm always honest with you, it's not the best tasting thing anyone's ever had. We'll put it that way. It tastes like charcoal dirt. I mean, that's really what it tastes like. But here's why. And this is why it tastes like that. It's hundreds to thousands of year old plant decomposed matter that has basically been, crushed into the earth, most abundant in the plant-based life in the Himalayan mountains. And it's wildly rich in minerals and antioxidants, over 82 different mineral-rich sources inside of Shilajit. So massive amounts of antioxidants, loaded with minerals, and scientifically proven to help with specific based ailments, which I love, right? So I believe in all the herbal-based medicine. I've seen it work in internships overseas. I've used it in my practice, and it's backed up by the research. Okay, so let's go into just a little bit more. What's one of the main reasons why it works? Well, it's the antioxidant known as fulvic acid. So I don't want to let all of the suspense, build up or give it away. But we've been using fulvic acid in our practice for some time, never at scale because we haven't been able to get a third-party tested, heavy metal-free one. So that's the big issue is anything that I carry is going to be GMP certified and produced actually at facilities that are FDA regulated. I don't love the FDA, of course. It's not that I'm against them. It's just there's sometimes a little bit of double speak going on, but we'll save that for another show. The good thing is they don't allow products that don't do what they say out the door, and if they're tainted with heavy metals. So that's why, again, we check these out because honestly, Shilajit can come with a lot of heavy metals, and that's because it comes from the soil, right? It comes from the earth. I know it's hard to imagine, but the earth, the soil has inside of it lead. It has inside of it mercury. It has these things in it. So the goal is to purify these things. So a lot of times instead of using Shilajit, we actually use fulvic acid. And so we have a binder coming out in November that we hope it's November, but by the new year at the latest, that combines the best of the best of binders. And it's clean. That's the thing too. You obviously, if you're using a binder to bind up other metals or bacteria, other things in your gut, alcohol, etc., you don't want to put more metals in your body, right? So we use actually fulvic acid, and the fulvic acid is a derivative of something like a Shilajit. So Shilajit in Ayurvedic medicine is essentially a tonifier. It's meant for longevity. It helps build up the reproductive system, the nervous system. It provides and brings vitality. It's a great, great product. And now research actually backs that up. It's been shown in clinical studies to help men, even up to 55 years old, improve testosterone levels naturally. And I think that's pretty fantastic. What else to do? Well, it helps with chronic fatigue syndrome. So really great study. This one was back in 2012. And just in 3 weeks, they were able to improve chronic fatigue in this particular study. And it's believed that it helps the mitochondrial function. Overall, it helps with scavenging free radicals and cellular damage. So it works in the anti-aging base process, may help with altitude sickness. It does help with anemia, especially iron-based. And that is because there is a little bit of iron in that Shilajit. It is a dark resin. With women, this is actually for men in infertility. Same thing with testosterone, also shown to improve sperm and sperm motility. There's studies going on right now for Shilajit and heart health. And the last one is Shilajit has been studied with Alzheimer's. And it looks like, if I can find this study right here, they're looking at reducing inflammation with Alzheimer's with Shilajit and potentially reducing plaque buildup in the brain. So a slowing of progression is what seems to be with Shilajit and Alzheimer's. Again, is my first go-to for Alzheimer's? No, but it is my go-to for what Ayurvedic medicine used it for. It's a good one for that, and that's building up reproductive, let's call it reproductive health, and that includes testosterone and sperm, as well as energy. All right, that is our herb of the week. And of course, like I said, you can find all of those links at 2443 today's episode. All right, first research study of the week is on antidepressants and their potential to increase stroke. So this is done out of the Yale School of Medicine in New Haven, and in conjunction with the VA Connecticut Health Care System in West Haven, Connecticut, and it was published in Stroke Journal. So this was headed up by Dr. Gaffey, PhD. Researchers studied 1 million veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, those who took a SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, were 45% more likely to suffer a hemorrhagic stroke. Interestingly, SSRIs were previously shown to reduce risk for ischemic stroke. Since the study concludes that serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors don't seem to carry the stroke risk, they may be a safer treatment. Okay, so basically they're saying that in over 1 million people in this study, you had almost a 50%, 45% greater chance for a stroke. It's a hemorrhagic stroke. That is obviously a troubling statistic. So if you are on an SSRI, it doesn't mean that you should stop it without working with your physician, but you may want to look at alternative-based treatments, hopefully some natural health-based treatments as well. We've talked about that specifically before. But also, it may be worth looking into an SNRI instead of that SSRI. Again, I'm not here to provide you with any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical diagnosis, or medical cures, but I do like to bring you the best of real science. All right, now we're going to end with a big positive note, and that is a CT scan is best for non-invasive colorectal cancer screenings. This was published in the American Journal of, let's see here. Sorry, all I have is the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health in Madison, Wisconsin, and it's led by Dr. Perry Pickhart. And what I will do is I will actually link up the full study at stephencabral.com/2443 because this was the conclusion of the study, and I thought that this was worth sharing. In comparison of a stool DNA, fecal immunochemical test, the FIT, which I've spoken before, and the CT colonography, which is a CTC, a type of X-ray. The CTC proved best for findings polyps of 10 millimeters or larger. Smaller polyps are benign and need no immediate action. Colonoscopy would be used if significant findings appear on the CTC, but using CTC first reduces unnecessary colonoscopies. A CTC bowel preparation is simpler than a typical colonoscopy preparation. All right, so if you've never had a colonoscopy, then you don't know, essentially how invasive it is to have a camera put up into your anus through your 5 feet, 6 feet of colon to look for potential polyps. But also, the night before, you need to drink a solution that essentially empties your bowels, which you're near or around the toilet for probably at least like 5-6 hours. And so, not a pleasant experience, certainly not a healthful drink to consume that night before. And I've shared with you before the FIT test, the fecal immunochemical test. That can be done with a simple stool-based card that actually looks for colon-based cancer-based markers from a small amount of stool. So that's an easy one to do. It can be done in conjunction with the CTC, the CT colonography, or on its own. So I just wanted to share that with you because if you're not going to get a colonoscopy and you're worried about the risks of a colonoscopy, well, there are two that are basically just as good, if not better. And then if anything were found, then you can always do the colonoscopy as needed. So as I said, do feel free to research these and bring them up to your PCP and say, listen, I know you want me to get a colonoscopy. What do you think about a CTC or the FIT-based test or both? All right. Hopefully this was helpful. I will link up the research. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into the show. All the links today will be at StephenCabral.com/2443. Have an amazing weekend. I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. And you probably heard with the intro that Equilife is giving away 500 of the TherAid BioBands. These are energetic bands to help you with overall free radical damage, inflammation, low mood, low energy, and more. They can help with the harmful effects of EMFs and overall chemical sensitivities. They work by helping to generate negative ions. They use magnetic-based therapy and infrared-based technology, all in a simple bracelet that you can wear around your wrist or probably even around your ankle if you choose to. You can check out all the details and how you can get one of these 500 bands that we've reserved by heading on over to StephenCabral.com/shop. That's StephenCabral.com/shop. We are giving away one with each qualifying order, and we've reserved 500 of these from TherAid. Check it out. Check out all the details at StephenCabral.com/shop.